Okay, very quickly before I set off on my way again, this is not a good road. A couple of weeks ago I did a ride where I linked up the Caledon Trailway to the Elora Cateract Trailway. Well, this morning I'm on the Elora Cateract Trailway. I'm approaching the end of it, the far west end of it, and then I've already planned a route down to the Guelph to Goderich Trailway. So just using these two rides I could potentially link all the way from Tottenham near the Highway 400 all the way over to Lake Huron at Goderich. I haven't worked out how many kilometers that is. Maybe I will, and I'll put it on the screen. But it's a long way, and as long as the linking road bits are decent, then it's a route that I may well attempt all of at some point in the future. Please remember, if you like this kind of content, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. So it's so windy, and it also looks like it's threatening rain. It's not supposed to rain until this afternoon, but I think it's going to be earlier than that. So I probably won't do a lot of talking to the camera. So this might be a lot of voiceover. But just look at that. It's beautiful. Because I ride on gravel so much, I generally have my tyres fairly soft, but on this occasion they felt really soft, almost as if they were losing air. So I pulled over to the side of the road to check them out, and yeah, it did seem as though they had lost a fair amount of air. I couldn't find a puncture. I thought maybe the valve was leaking in some way, so I managed to get some air back into the tyres and thought I'd give that a go and see how I went. Okay, very quickly before I set off on my way again, this is not a good road so far. I've done about 4 kilometers on it. There's no shoulder. The surface is really rough. It's very, very quiet, because if it was busy, I'd be looking for a way to bail out. But I've got about just under 8 kilometers until I get to the end of this road, and I think that'll be where the other trail is. And yeah, hopefully it improves a bit. So there it is, the Guelph Goderich Trailway, and it's been about 12-kilometer ride on that road from Elora. I'll leave my thoughts on the road to voice over me, but I'll say that now I'm actually going to head slightly towards Guelph, and the trail takes a detour. You don't actually go down there, you go this way, and there's an interesting little surprise at the end of this road. So that's the Kissing Bridge in Montrose. Apparently it's the last covered bridge in all of Ontario. So that was worth the wait, wasn't it? So a little bit of an update. after the Montrose Bridge I just decided to check my tyre. I've actually put air into it once already, and that time was because I was riding on the roads. I'm not used to riding on the roads, so I thought I'd put a little bit of air into it. And then when I got to the Montrose Bridge there, it seemed to be pretty flat, so I tried to get some air into it. It went completely flat. I think there's an issue with the valve. I've managed to get a bit of air into it. It's okay, and it seems to be holding. And now I'm back on the Goderich to Guelph Rail Trail. This bit's called the Kissing Bridge Trail, but it is part of the Goderich to Guelph. I'm supposed to take this for about 7 kilometers and then start heading north. I may cut that bit of it short. I've got to kind of have a look at the map and just decide whether maybe I should be just taking the shortest possible and the quickest possible route. I would love to stay on the rail trail, but I also don't want to get stranded out here, just in case I'm not able to get air in again should I need it. The tyre seems to be holding, but it's probably like 25 psi. So I'm just cracking on as hard as I can, and hopefully get this done without any more significant issues. I ended up on a really rough bit of road, and it had lots of potholes, and I kept hitting them, and every time I hit them I was really worried about bending or breaking my rims. I decided I had to take some pretty drastic action, and I'll explain exactly what that was at the end of the video. But the action I took didn't work out, but thankfully after not so long I ended up on a smooth bit of road. I never thought I'd be so happy to see smooth new asphalt. So my phone has suddenly started talking to me in French, which does seem very fitting for this ride, as it is a language of which I know very few words. But I'm back. I didn't think I would be at a lot of points, but I am back. Mission accomplished, and I'm very relieved. So let me explain what happened, because that certainly was a ride packed full of adventure and disaster. Once I realised that my tyre wasn't going to take, sufficient air, I just decided, I've got to plug on as quickly as I can. So I put my head down, and I guess I covered quite a few kilometres that way. But eventually I came to a road where the asphalt was so broken that I knew that pretty soon I was going to do some serious damage to my rims. So I stopped and I ordered an Uber, and I explained to them in the text that I had a bike with me, so they cancelled. So I ordered another Uber, and I did the same thing, and they cancelled. And then I ordered a third Uber, and while I was waiting for them I thought, well, if they do come and pick me up, there's no harm in me trying to get a little bit of air into the tyre just to see if it's possible. And so I got my little mini pump out again, and managed to get just a few more psi than I had before. And at that point the next Uber cancelled, so I thought, screw this, let's get on the bike. And actually when I checked how far, it was funny because I'm looking at the Uber, what the prices they were going to charge, I'm like, thinking that's not very much. And then when I looked at the distance I had to go, it was only 7 kilometers, mostly through town. So I just hopped on the bike, probably with 25 psi, and scooted along just as quickly as I could. Managed to get back, and here I am. So it's funny, that was probably one of the worst rides that I've had, or probably one of the worst rides, but it was still kind of enjoyable. I think the bad thing about it was when you're way out in the middle of nowhere and you think you're going to be really stranded and you can't get your brain quite to work out what your options are. Certainly ordering an Uber, as I've now learned, is not one of them. The route from one rail trail to the other, it was about 12 kilometers. As you saw, there was no shoulder. The road was very, very quiet, which was to its advantage. So I would say it's doable. It's not like a lovely route, but it's definitely doable. And that little hop of 12 kilometers from one major rail trail to another certainly starts to open up the possibilities of what you can do. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's kind of been useful, giving you some options and some ideas of how to link trails together. I still have enjoyed making it. There were times where I wasn't enjoying it so much, but overall I've really enjoyed making this. Any day on the bike is better than a day in the office. If you have enjoyed it, please remember, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I shall see you on the next ride.